Hello, everyone. This is Daz, and this week's discussion is on the obsession with success, hustle culture, and it was inspired by this last live stream done on scams. And I'll be sharing some interesting information sociologically and psychologically that I've learned over the years and from other content creators. But before we get into today's video, a message from our sponsor. If you're worried about the future, I don't blame you. Millions of Americans are quietly stocking up on emergency food. Should you? Ask yourself, do you currently have enough food on hand to get you through the next month? If not, you should strongly consider getting a 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and their mission is your survival. They've served millions of American families, and they'd be honored to serve you too. Right now, you can save $50 off their 4-week emergency food kit, which comes with breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks. This food gives you the minimum requirement of 2,000 calories per day, and the special packaging keeps it fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage. You can't go wrong. Head on over to preparewithdaz.com and claim your 4-week emergency food kit at this special price. You'll save $50 per kit if you act now. That's preparewithdaz.com. In my 26, near 27 years, I grew up believing that the harder I worked, the more successful I'd be in order to achieve the so-called American dream. As we all know, the older you get, the more you realize a lot of what you heard isn't quite what it seems. And one thing that's ingrained, especially for millennials, which I'm a millennial, is this idea of hustle culture. It's a glorification of grinding and working hard. It's this idea that the harder you work, the more successful you'll be. But it goes beyond simple hard work. You're working yourself to the bone. It's bragging about missing sleep to work longer hours to make more money, skipping meals, waking up earlier so you could start work earlier or staying later. It's romanticizing unhealthy lifestyle choices like sleep deprivation or a lack of a social life. It's burning out and continuing to go until you get where you want to be. Your economic value and how much money is in your bank account, your net worth is tied to your value as a human. It's very individualistic. It's workaholicism. Many who adopt this motto either work 60 to 80 plus hours a week, and some will take on a quote unquote side hustle for passive income. This is based on the belief of meritocracy that your position in life is based on your merit or how well you did. And while it's true that there are rewards, benefits, or consequences to our actions, sometimes our position in life is more so based on the circumstances we were born into, the opportunities that were given to us, or that we happen upon, or the connections that we have. It's this idea of rising and grinding. A day has too many hours, and you just have too many excuses, is one popular quote. Never quit, fail, and try again. It targets the youth. And I would say with hustle culture, it is gendered to target younger men. However, there is a female version of this with MLMs. It promises financial freedom. And once you retire when you're young, you can live this luxury lifestyle. You can be a millionaire, and you must have a success mindset. You must always be productive, because if you're not productive and you have too much free time, there's something wrong with you. I've had friends who try to guilt trip me for having free time, or even when I was between work and I was searching for work, being made to feel like somehow that was some kind of excuse or crutch. Oftentimes, it incorporates this idea of being self made, which no one is ever self made, or being an entrepreneur or your own boss. It might incorporate ideas like fitness and going to the gym and staying fit, investing, obsessed with starting a business, Even though there's this element of aspiring to be wealthy, it discourages frivolous spending, and there's really no work life balance. And turning all of your hobbies into a new job or side hustle, monetizing any and everything you can think of. So, an example of this would be figures like Gary Vee. MLMs fall into this category as well, as mentioned in the last live stream, and MLMs are multi-level marketing. They promote this idea of being your own boss. You'll make six figures a month. It is usually targeted to certain demographics, especially women, to be a girl boss. You buy in with buying their products, which are overpriced, and then you recruit others, and this is how it continues to grow, benefiting those at the top. Just like with hustle culture, it promotes this idea of using positivity, which is really toxic positivity, and new age ideas like the law of attraction and positive affirmations and self help books from self help gurus to motivate and keep their members continuing to believe in this vision that the reason you're not selling enough is because you're not working hard enough. The reason why you're not successful is because you have negative thoughts. And if you think about it, if you go off this idea that everything that you experience is because of you, it's a reflection of you, then every time you try to go against it, you'll always be met with the same empty answer that it's your thinking. You just got to change your thinking. And the funny part is it's contingent upon failing because really you not being able to sell enough means that you are going to put more money into these seminars, workshops, buy more products to sell to make these people who are benefiting off of you richer. An example of this was Rachel Hollis. So, social media has a major role to play in this whole new idea of hustle culture, and a lot of it is with these influencers pushing these ideas. Remember the golden age of YouTube? Long before I was ever on YouTube, when you didn't monetize videos, people were more free with what they said and did in their artistic expression. Once it became monetized, then we had to be careful about how we presented our ideas, but then also a lot of it became about wanting to make more money, so people began to cater their content to what they thought would sell. Also, there's a lot of videos out there pushing these ideas, blogs, ads, podcasts, and quote pages that show up in your algorithm. I cannot tell you how quote pages really influence so many people because I think about how if you're constantly being bombarded with the same quotes every day, it can encourage your way of thinking and also discussion forums. So the FIRE movement is the financial independence retire early movement. It's popular among millennials and it started to gain some legs in the 2010s. It's this idea of passive income, and like its counterparts, it's also contingent upon self help. And really, what gives all of this room to fester is people are afraid of being ordinary, average. They desire to be rich. They want the same lives of those on the silver screen of these influencers in the black mirrors of their phones and their tablets. It's this idea that you are high value or high earning. The idea of people always calling themselves a high value man or woman or a high earner. You haven't arrived until your bank account is boasting at least six figures. You look down on poverty and those who are comfortable with being middle class. Oftentimes, those who adopt these ideas see those who are struggling financially as lazy, unmotivated, to blame for their own shortcomings, and lack empathy. It sells life in this package of luxurious vacations, whether it's to Europe or to the beaches of the Caribbean or the East or West Coast, cocktail parties, social events, dating models, or in order for a guy to even be boyfriend or husband material, he has to be one of these major influencers. And it targets people on social media, whether they're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, or whatever the case is. Others are lazy if they're not grinding hard. And It's made to make those outside who aren't a part of this feel worthless. It makes you feel bad if you're not constantly doing something. I guess one question to ask is, how did we get here? For one thing, this didn't come all by itself. With the cost of living going up, there's a lot more fears of how are we going to afford the future where nothing's getting cheaper. In addition, people are having to take on more than one job, so they're adopting either working two jobs or finding a new stream of income or revenue. And there are consequences. For one thing, you have no time for family, friends, or a relationship, no social life. There's sleep deprivation and bad sleep patterns, which leads to a bad sleep schedule, which is very hard to rid yourself of. Some may develop an unhealthy diet by binge eating unhealthy foods or stop eating because they don't have time to, or because as part of their self improvement journey, they're trying to also stay fit. So they're trying to eat clean, but they take it to degrees of either constantly water fasting and not eating ever, or consuming unnecessary content like buying more of these seminars, conferences, signing up for coaching sessions with these individuals that are basically gods to many these days. You may prematurely age yourself. You may hit the age of 25 but start to look like you're 35 because you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're getting wrinkles and stress lines and gray hair. It can cause depression because you're not living up to what you thought, or you're not where you thought you should be at this age. Because a lot of social media, if you go off of what you see, which most of it is fake, and you think everyone around you who's also faking to be rich is doing better than you at your age, you may really start to feel depressed. It can create anxiety. And the sad part is it's all at the cost of benefiting a system, keeping the well oiled machine going. Keeps young people being worker bees for those on the top. So, some personal takeaways. There's nothing wrong with working hard. There's nothing wrong with liking to work long hours. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best version of yourself. It's only natural. But how hard you work shouldn't be a status symbol or used to look down on others. Slow and steady wins the race. Life's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I wish I would have known this when I was younger, and I feel like in a way life had a way of teaching me this lesson because for the longest time I would attract people to me with this mindset as friends or as romantic interest, and they would have this hustle culture, get rich fast, social climbing mindset. And as someone who has written and self-published three novels, and I'm working on the others, and it's been like a 2 year gap, I have often found myself being hard on myself, like, why haven't I produced the other novels that I've been working on? But being between jobs has really opened my eyes to all of the circumstances that could come up. And even just seeing how distant people get from you when they think you have nothing going on for you. One minute they're your friend when they think you have a good job, or because they see you're putting out YouTube videos or you're publishing books. And then as soon as you look unproductive and they don't think you have any money or status anymore, they're nowhere in sight. And it's a very cold and cruel, selfish world we're in today. But I think it's also taught me a lot of empathy. And having worked with people who were homeless in my very first job to helping out small business owners and working in the different sectors of society from emergency management to healthcare, I understand that life is a lot bigger than myself and bigger than an individualistic mindset. So I encourage you, if this is your mindset, to really rethink these things. And hopefully, as time goes on, more people begin to realize some of the cognitive dissonance and errors in this way of thinking. In many ways, it is a cult and it is a scam, and there are a lot of frauds. And there's going to be a lot of unhappy people if they don't live up to what they thought they were chasing by the time they reach a certain age. One thing I've learned is I'd rather take it slow, even if I never see a certain income, and do the things I've always wanted to do because you never know how long you really truly have. And there's a lot of things I've gotten to do and experience. Some of it was because I worked very hard, and some of it was because I chose to take an alternative path that may not have been as lucrative, but it led to a lot of experience and growth. And never let anyone make you feel ashamed because you're not doing things the traditional way or you don't have the same desires as other people. But I hope you enjoyed today's message. As always, I hope you take care. And stay tuned for the next live stream tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care and God bless.